Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies and comrades, there's a video that came out last week, early this week actually, and it's by the Vice President Rigathi Gachagua, that a lot of people were clowning him and making fun of him when he made this video, but they did not understand the implications of this video. It's very sad that most Kenyans don't understand what this guy is saying. And I'll say I have to give him respect for expressing himself in the way he did, because he actually understands what the implications are. I told you in my previous videos, if you accept the loans from IMF and these international bankers or these Western countries, they will have strings attached to it. Okay? And part of it is they will have to force your government to import these GMOs, patented seeds, and foods from their country and from their corporations. They'll force you to do that. And failure to do that will either end up into a coup d'etat. Okay? And now you see this Mr. Gachagua, the Vice President of the Republic of Kenya, basically sudden giving this plea to Kenyans, but Kenyans don't understand. Instead, they're laughing at him. But he understands. He's standing by himself. He had to go back and beg these Western countries, including the oppressors. But you guys are clowning him because you don't understand that these Western countries will take control over farming and food production in that particular country simply because you agreed to take their loans. It's very sad and it's very serious. That's why I said Ruto is no different from Raila and Uhuru, because he took the IMF loan and guess what? He agreed, and now the farmers will suffer. The coming few years, most farmers will go out of business because they'll be forced to buy these patented seeds from these Western corporations. But have a listen to Rigathi Gachagua, who is the Vice President of Kenya. Listen to what he says, and I'll come back on the other end and explain what's happening over here, okay? All right, listen up, and I'll see you in the end of this video. Watch out.
Deputy President, I become a beggar. I spend all my time begging for food. It is humiliating to me. I spend all the time with the foreigners, begging for food, including those who colonized us. It's very humiliating. But I have no choice because we cannot let our people die. The president gave me a responsibility to mobilize food so that our people do not die, and that is what I...
You heard it from the horse's mouth. I didn't have to say to you, because if I make a video and talk about the Western controlling African countries, you think I'm just being another, pro-African, wannabe Pan-Africanist, making videos for no reason. But he said it himself. He had to go beg his oppressors for food. That's why I say Kenya is not free yet. We have Western puppets. Yes, some of you can come and argue that, hey, Gachagua, you're part of government. Why didn't you refuse? Gachagua is the vice president. He's not the president. Ruto is the head of the state. So when the head of the state signs the deal and agrees to something, it ties the whole nation to it. That's why when Uhuru Kenyatta, he was a legitimate president, but he was recognized by the Western countries because he's a puppet, essentially. He went and borrowed money, all those loans for the SGR loans and all that stuff. It tied the nation to it, which means we taxpayers will have to pay those loans. Okay? Because our head of state, regardless of how illegitimate he is, has tied us to this. We'll have to pay for it. Our kids will have to pay for it. But most of the times, these Western countries, they don't care about you paying it back. That's not the whole point. They know you won't pay it. So guess what? They will seek control of the food production, the money. Okay? That's why I say it's still slavery. So when people were celebrating that Ruto is the new president, including because I said, oh, you know what? At least we're not having Raila. Raila is a proven puppet. But once Uhuru signed to accept that IMF loan, I knew this guy is a puppet. And few weeks later, after that, he went on and started spewing that nonsense about GMOs. And all these issues are interrelated. Have you ever wondered why most of our presidential candidates during electioneering years, they usually come to the US, go to England, go to these Western countries to give a speech? What do they do while they go there? They actually go there to make a deal with their leaders, to beg their leaders to back them. Because I told you before, and I'll make another video, these elections are not decided by the wananchi, not the people decide these elections. These people don't win elections. They are rigged in. The machines that are used to tabulate the votes are programmed to give victory to a certain candidate. In 2017, remember when Miguna went to the media and he said, hey, I actually have the real results of the elections, of who won the elections, not the altered results. Because during the court case, when Maraga was there, the ODM proved that the machines had been rigged, hacked, so to speak, and the numbers were altered to give victory to Uhuru Kenyatta. And this happens worldwide. It's not only Kenya. All the countries that use certain voting machines always go through this rigging. Even in the US, believe it or not. But I won't speak on that, because if you speak on that, they'll flag your channel. So I'm not going to speak on that. But I'll speak on the one in Kenya. So all those people, that's why I said, while Raila might make noise and say that he can prove that the election was rigged, I have no sympathy for him, because in 2017, as I mentioned, the people stood up, they knew the elections were rigged, and they swore him in as their president, the people's president. And it was up to him to rule the people, since the people gave him the mantle. But guess what he did? He went behind everybody's back and shook hands with Uhuru. I can't stress that enough. That was the ultimate betrayal. That's why when he mentions, Uhuru, when he says Ruto rigged the elections, I don't care. But back to my main point, especially in relation to this video that regarding Gachagua just made, that I just showed you. It proves that our leaders are not elected by the people. They are rigged by the Western countries. Now you see, Gachagua may not know how the process works, but now he understands who really owns Kenya, who really rules them, because now he has to go beg them. Because his president, his boss, sold him out. As I said, in the next few years, we are going to suffer, because our food production shall only be determined by these Western corporations, these Western countries. Why? Because we gave up our will to these guys. We have to depend on them. We have to buy their seeds. Can you picture this? And you think this is a joke? Do your own research. Do you know these Western countries, once you sign on those loans, they get to tell your president how much food you can produce. That's why you see people dying in Isiolo and Northeast. We can't have enough food. We cannot produce enough food to feed our own people, while we have the capability to. Kenya, we can produce organic food that's enough to feed the whole nation, but we choose not to, because we are being told by the Western countries that, hey, you cannot produce enough. You can produce this X amount of food, then The rest of it, you have to import it. And that's not enough. So basically, we have to run to the Western countries and ask them, hey, can we produce this amount of whatever? They determine how much food we can produce. That's how ridiculous. And I haven't even mentioned the money part of it. How our currency is manipulated. It depends on their currency. See, these are the steps that we need to look at if we really want to be independent. But I will make this video short. I don't want to bore you with a lot of information today. It's not boring. Hopefully I'm not boring. But please learn about these Kenyans. And I've been urging, posting my videos to senators like Ledama, CS Murkomen, Aaron Cheriot, you people from Rift Valley, the agricultural basket of Kenya. Introduce a bill in the parliament that bans GMO. Nobody does that. You guys only talk on Twitter and post your pictures how you are flying to the World Cup and how your life is great. But you don't think 30 years down the line. Because this is what's going to happen. Farming will die in Kenya. Now, here's the interesting part too, and I will finish with this. Have you noticed that everybody now is being required to register how much land they own? Register. Register how much land you own, how big it is. You know why? Because they want to know who is growing their organic foods. Because what's going to happen is this. Once they have a database of who owns what, how big your land is, and what you usually grow, they can determine if you're using GMO or you're using organic seeds. Okay? So when they bring the patented seeds in, those corporations will tell the government, and the government will tell you this. In order to continue farming in that land, you have to buy these seeds that you are issuing it. The GMO seeds, the patented seed. Anything that has a patent on it, you have to pay for it. So it's a control thing. You guys think, oh, it's just normal. Okay, let's go register our food, our land. Let me go register how much land I own in Kenya. Somebody made a comment. Made a comment, yes, and said, Africans, if you're not careful, we will be tenants in our own land. Let that sink in. I'll say it one last time before I leave. Africans, if you're not careful, we shall be tenants in our own land. Subscribe, like, share, and comment. This is Fabrizio Romano. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.